Hi. I'm probably going to sneeze in a minute. Hold on. Okay, I didn't. My name is Tim. My wife watches a lot of BookTube on YouTube. This is where you would watch BookTube and on YouTube. But she watches a lot of the YouTube channels where people are talking about books they've read and stuff. And I've noticed there is a shocking lack of really bad books being spoken about. And by bad, I don't mean just like you didn't enjoy the book. I'm not talking Dan Brown level bad. I'm talking movie novelization bad. Which brings me to the book I wanted to talk about on my first recording for my new BookTube, which I don't have a name for. So if you have a good idea, put it in suggestions. As long as you're being nice, I'm very fragile right now. But I want to talk to you today about Ghostbusters. I'm a huge fan. I watched it in the theaters way back in 1984 when I was just a kid. Been hooked on it ever since. So I used to buy up everything regarding Ghostbusters. Everything. I'm talking the album. Of course, this isn't the original copy. It's 30-year anniversary, but I bought this too. Funny thing about the album, if you look in the back, see that? The Ghostbusters are looking up at a weird supernatural sphincter. I don't remember that being in the movie, and I've seen that movie like 1,000 times. So if you guys know when this happens in the movie, let me know, because I want to go back and rewatch it. But I was into the cartoon. And I also have a whole bunch of pop figures somewhere. I don't know where they are. We had a basement flood, so a lot of my stuff is packed away. Action figures, pop figures, t-shirts. I should have wore one today, but I didn't. But the one thing I didn't know existed was the Ghostbusters novelization. And yeah, look at the condition of this book. I never owned this. I actually bought this used. I believe I either got it from Amazon or Thrift Books, but it's had better days. Still readable though, and I got it pretty cheap, so it works out. So this was written by Larry Milne, and okay, let's talk about movie novelizations for a second. When you're reading a new, I'm not editing this. When you're reading a movie novelization, what do you look for? I mean, are you just looking to relive the movie? Because if you are, that's kind of boring. In my opinion, when you read a movie novelization, what you should be trying to do is get more depth into the movie. A little more universe building, a little more detail that there's just not enough time to fit into a script. This doesn't really provide that. Okay, with this book, take all the charm that you get from the Ghostbusters, particularly Peter Venkman, and remove it. Like, Venkman is creepy as hell in this book. There's scenes where he's in Dana's apartment. You remember the scene where he first goes to investigate or check her out, as he puts it? When he shows up at her apartment, basically you're kind of worried about Dana the entire time. You're just kind of like, you know what? He sounds like a rapist, and he needs to leave. But it's kind of weird too, because the scene actually plays out real similar. It's just without the charm of Bill Murray. Also, Dana seems to hate him throughout the entire book. The passionate kiss shared at the very end is more or less just a peck on the cheek. There's actual scene in the book to where, if you remember the montage where the Ghostbusters are in the news all the time, and the whole like, where is Elvis, have you spoken to him lately? It's a little different, but not worth talking about. But when it comes to Dana watching this, she actually gets mad, and I'm trying to remember. I took down a bunch of notes because I always like to take notes. Not really. Oh, here we are. Give me 1 second here. I want to find exactly what happens here. Oh, no. I'm still looking. 1 second. Oh wow, I don't think I actually... Oh, here we are. Okay, what happens is the Ghostbusters are on the TV on every channel. She gets mad and throws a jar of marmalade. So Dana's apparently a very angry person, this one. And also, who throws marmalade? That is a waste of marmalade. Paddington Bear would be pissed. But yeah, there's all sorts of weird little stuff like this. Like, and things that I took down really aren't even worth talking about, but like Slimer. big green goopy guy, big huge mouth. He's described as vaporous yellow sac with a mouth. That's really all the detail you get out of Slimer. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just looking over it. Okay. Another big difference is the character of Louis Tully. Louis in the movies is somewhat charming. Like, he's kind of a lovable geek. You understand where he's coming from because, well, as a nerd myself, I can kind of relate to Louis. He's nervous around people. He's awkward, but basically good-natured. This Louis is a creep. He apparently daydreams about Dana raping him. He got his apartment because it had a good view at choice bathrooms. Yeah, I know, right? Creepy. See, the thing is, a lot of this could be an Aykroyd script. A lot of it could be Milne just trying to add stuff to it. Milne also doesn't know what a Twinkie is. The famous tell him about the Twinkie scene. Yeah, Milne refers to a Twinkie as a chocolate. Oh, no, excuse me, not chocolate. As a candy bar. Milne, if you ever see us for any reasons, a Twinkie is a snack cake, not a candy bar. I'm a fat guy. Trust me, I know. Snack cakes are not the same. But yeah, I mean, it's just little things like that. And there are so many things in here that I took down. That's the reason why I keep glancing, because I don't want to miss anything, but I also don't want to just read these out verbatim. There's a scene where Egon tries to flirt with Janine, which I think in the movie, I don't think Egon was shown to have any real interest in Janine. He actually seemed to be kind of annoyed with her. But it says here, or it said in the book, basically, Janine expresses concern and hugs him. Then he compliments her clavicles. And that was his attempt at flirting, apparently. Winston gets a little more play here, not much though, and he's also kind of described as being scared. In my opinion, the best treatment of Winston there's ever been is the before mentioned cartoon show. And if you get a chance, read the IDW series of Ghostbuster books. Like, Winston is actually treated very well there. Like, Winston is basically, he's ex-military, as we find out from the cartoon as well. I don't remember if it's mentioned in the movies or not, but he's also a smart guy. Like, he's not a scientist. He's not supposed to be. He's there so that they have someone to explain what they're doing to. But you also need somebody there who can think like normal people, and that's Winston's job, because the other three Ghostbusters, Peter, Ray, Egon, are kind of space cadets for the most part. Peter's a con man, and Ray's a dreamer, and Egon's so smart he's weird. Let me see, that's really about... Oh, one more thing. I really wanted to go into this. First off, when I was talking about Peter, I just glanced at this other note here. Peter's not clever here. He's just a dick. I mean, through the entire book, he's just a straight up jerk. So, not the same Peter that we get from Bill Murray. That being said, there was one scene I really liked. We actually get a view into the containment unit. And in the cartoons, we got a few glimpses of that too. But the cartoon, you can't really... The cartoon was good, but I never felt satisfied with the cartoon's view of the containment unit, especially when human beings are going into it. The book, however, actually gives you an interesting thing, and I'm going to read it to you because I actually wrote it down. If he ever needed a graphic depiction of hell, this is it. A yellow graveyard mist hangs in thick streamers. Spectral shapes, looking lost and lonely, waft aimlessly to and fro. Vaguely human forms stand desolate, staring into eternity. Strange lights flicker and die, creating eerie, unearthly twilight and dimly illuminating this bleak limbo of lost souls and desperate spooks. I mean, that's actually good writing. Mr. Milne can actually write when he chooses to. Apparently, he didn't choose to a lot in this book. So basically, would I recommend this book to you? No, not really. I mean, if you're a huge fan and you just want it for your collection, they are actually reprinting these books. You can get on the buy it early, not buy it early, prepay on Amazon. And it's actually this book, as well as the novelization of Ghostbusters 2. I haven't read this one yet. I need a break from this one because it was so bad. But yeah, if you absolutely want it, I would just buy the new copies because I'd imagine by now it'd be hard to find a good copy of this. This clearly has been in somebody's back pocket a lot. But yeah, that's about it. The Ghostbusters novelization, not great. But you know what? If you're just a big fan, you just want to read it, you can find them pretty cheap, or just buy the new one when it comes out and you have a decent copy to put on a shelf somewhere. So when people come to your house and they're like, hey, is that a novelization of Ghostbusters? You say, yes, and it's garbage. Don't read that. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a little rough. There's no special lighting or nothing. We're in my basement, so we got this harsh lighting above, and I look like I haven't slept in 3 months. Quarantine does not set with me well, but I thought, while I'm sitting with nothing to do to twiddle my thumbs, I thought maybe be a good time to read books like this, as well as share what I find with you. So if you would, like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you think if you've ever read this book, or if there's any books you want to suggest to me. I would love to know what they are, just so I can order them and have something to read while I'm stuck at home, because eventually my wife will banish me to this basement forever. So that's it. Hope you guys have a great night, and thank you for watching this. And next time I'll hopefully have a much more professional setup. I think I might do Gremlins next time. I do have the little children's book on that, and just to give you a little preview, weirdly better than this. So good night, everybody. These web pancakes, but yeah, web cakes. It's very pretty, very purple.